Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, Hanging with the Patrick. If you didn't know, which is a year now, you're supposed to know, I'm Rashane Patrick, and this is my wife, Amanda Patrick. Before we get into this video, be sure if you're not a subscriber to hit that subscribe button so you can become a part of the Patrick's family. Yes, we welcome you with arms wide open. Hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button so YouTube can notify you each time we upload a new video. Head over to Instagram, follow us at Vogue and Virtue, where we post a lot of fashion things and pictures of us and unboxings and yada yada yada. Follow us there, you'll see it. Also follow our business pages, which will be linked in the description below, and you can feel free to follow our personal accounts popping up below as well. Now we're going to get into our serious video. Yes, we are going to be talking about something that a lot of people like to not talk about. I don't know why. It's like it's like talking about sex in church. I don't know why churches don't like to mention the word sex. Like God didn't ordain it. You know, it's like church is scared to mention the word sex. Anyway, something that we don't like to mention, which does happen in marriages and relationship, in all relationship, and that's fighting, right? Fighting. I'm gonna explain to them because they probably think I'm talking about physical fight.
Yes.
But if you are in a physical fight, you need to seriously call the cops or get therapy with your spouse. You are not supposed to be putting your hand on each other. All right, let's get that disclaimer out the way.
Absolutely not. It's a no-go. But we are talking here about the acronym FIGHT. Learning how to fight in our relationship, guys. So we came up with this beautiful acronym for the word FIGHT. F-I-G-H-T. Learning how to fight fairly in our relationships.
And we're going to break down each letter has its own meaning. And once again, as we always say in all our discussion videos, we're not professionals. We don't claim to be professionals. We don't have a PhD, a MHD, a DD, any D you can think about. We're not certified, nothing. We are just two young married couples who are speaking from what we've experienced, not in between us, but what we've experienced outside. We have friends, okay, guys? We got friends and people that goes through this, and we have people that come to us and talk to us, and we try to help them. So we're passing on that knowledge to you with the hope that if you're watching this and you're in this situation right now, it can help your marriage or your relationship get better. All right? So just keep that in mind. So, fight. The first letter is F, and that is going to be focus and face each other. That's focus and face each other. Now, we know, like in a literal argument, when you're having an argument with your spouse about anything, the first thing to go is your focus, because your focus is just on the argument that's going on, and you're not thinking about nothing else but, oh my God, this is an argument, this is happening now, but your entire mind is on that. And then you have to face the person while the argument is going on. Now, while you're focusing on the argument, there are times when the argument gets too much that you're like, okay, I'm gonna zone out. I'm not gonna face you no more. I'm gonna focus on something else. And then that drives the argument further, because now the other person is trying to explain their side, and they're getting the impression from you that you're no longer focusing on what I have to say. You're no longer facing me. So now I gotta now scream at you. I gotta now talk loudly just to get back your attention. And that just drives the argument to go on and get worse.
Absolutely, like you said, and that's never a good thing. Two people can be in the same room, but yet still they're absent, which means you're not focusing and listening to what your partner is saying. So turn off the TVs, turn off the phones, whatever it is, and focus on the argument at hand. And also, additionally, Do not bring up things from the past. Forget all about the side problems and all the extra stuff, and focus on why you guys are arguing or having a disagreement in the moment.
So you're focusing on the topic. Every argument has a topic. All right, not telling you when you argue, okay, the topic for the argument in this, no. But every argument is a specific topic or topics, because it could be more than one thing. So you need to focus on that thing. Don't bring up something that happened yesterday or last night that is completely unrelated. That is just going to make the argument worse. Perfect example. When you're in school and the teacher is teaching, there's 20 kids in the class. 19 of those kids can be focusing, and that 120 person can be in the class, and teacher gonna be like, hey, what did I just say? And you're in the class, but your mind isn't focused on what the professor or the teacher is saying. So focus and face your spouse.
The next letter is I. I means implement change. Implement change. Follow the anger with a fair and clear request for change. What does that even mean? Sit down and try to figure out what it is that he or she can do to change the situation, or to change how you both react to the specific topic at hand. Make it realistic. Make it something very simple. You know, for example, if the husband is always yelling and screaming, you know, when he gets angry, we're going to change that to something that is more realistic. That, okay, honey, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to calm down, and then we'll come back and have a conversation about it. Or another example can be, instead of being silent when you're both angry, you give some time and say, okay, we're going to come back and we're going to have a discussion. But whatever it is, make it fair, make it realistic, that you guys can implement that change so that it doesn't keep happening like a cycle.
Yes, you have to understand that the purpose of an argument, which is why we said in the beginning, if you're having a physical fight because of an argument, then you're not having an argument. That's just anger and physical abuse or verbal abuse. The point of an argument, which is why no relationship can be perfect if you don't have argument. If you think that you're going to have a relationship and you're not going to argue, that relationship is not going to last. It's not going to, you need argument, because argument is what gets the change. If you want something to change, you have to talk about it. You have to have an argument about it. And then, it sounds weird, right? Like, if I want something to change, I have to argue. It's just like politics. If the president wants a law to pass, the House basically has to argue about it with each other and find out, do we need to agree on this? Like, they're literally arguing, and then the change implements. So if you're arguing, you have to at some point, okay, so this is the issue. How can we change it? Do I need to change? What I need to do? Do you need to change? What you need to do? But if you get out of the argument with just, okay, that's it, and no change, tomorrow you're going to wake up, and you know what's going to happen? You're going to argue about the same thing again.
It's going to be a cycle if no one tries to change how they approach the fight or the disagreement.
All right, and the next letter is G. And G is going to be to guard your tongue.
Yep.
Guard your tongue.
I know this is a big one.
It's
for the
a big
ladies
one
too.
because it's so big that even the Bible states that life and death is in the power of your tongue. Your tongue is a very, very destructive, I think it's the most destructive part of your body, because the tongue can cause a lot of things. They say you have freedom of speech. There is no such thing as freedom of speech. Everything you say comes with a consequence. And it's the same thing in your relationship. Anything that comes out of your mouth, there's going to be a consequence behind it. So if you're arguing with someone and you call them out of their name, you start to curse at them, you start to belittle them out of your mouth, that person, whether it's a male or female, is gonna get emotionally abused. Like, they may not look it at the moment because they're trying to defend themselves, they're trying to fight back, so they might even say something back to you equally. But the fact that you say it first to them, in their mind, they are emotionally abuse, and that can cause end to relationships and end to marriages.
Yeah. I just also want to reiterate what my husband said is be careful for calling your spouses out of their names. It doesn't matter in the argument if you're right or wrong. Immediately, if you're calling that person out of their name, they're no longer focusing at the fight or the problem at hand. Their first instinct is to start thinking about how to defend themselves. Right? So we have to be careful, especially us ladies. Try to be careful of what we are saying so that it's not damaging our spouse's character.
Yep. Doesn't matter if your husband have a six-pack and look like Kong. If you call him out of his name, I guarantee you he's gonna break down. You call anybody out of their name, that's it. Argument is done. We don't care what we were fighting about. I'm in defense mode now. Now I'm gonna call you something back, and then it's gonna be chaos. So guard your tongue. It's not easy, but you have to learn how to guard your tongue. Yes. All right, and the next letter?
The next letter is H. H means hold yourself accountable.
Ooh, that's tough because I hate to do that.
Hold yourself accountable. In anything that we do in life, we first have to take that responsibility on ourselves of taking a step back and saying, I could have done this differently. I should have done this. Maybe I could have. There's so many things we think of. There is no difference with everyday life activities than your marriage. Marriage is the exact same way. Take accountability for whatever you did. If you called your husband or your wife out of their name, there's nothing wrong in saying, I'm sorry. If you did something your spouse doesn't like, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what? I could have handled that situation properly. Do not play the blame game.
Now, with holding yourself accountable, you have to get this perception, because this is the perception that everybody have. If I'm wrong, I have to hold myself accountable. But because you're right, you don't have to hold yourself accountable. That is not true. The reason why an argument starts is because every action is a reaction. So an action was done and I'm reacting to it. Even if I'm right, I contributed, I did something. There is something that both of you in an argument have done. The hard part is the person who wants to be right, who thinks they're right, is not going to hold himself accountable. They're going to attack the person who's wrong to hold himself accountable. But you, the attacker, when that person says, okay, you know what, babe, I know I did this, I'm sorry. You, in turn, now have to first accept the apology. If it's sincere, that's a whole other topic. But you have to accept the apology. So you yourself have to sit back now and say, you know what? I may have done something that contributed. Maybe because I did this, why you end up doing that, which caused the argument. So you yourself, even though yes, you're correct, still own up to you may actually have contributed to this. So let me hold myself accountable. And then that's where we get back to the letter I, implement changes. That's when you say, you know what? If I do this, then I will do this. So we won't have this argument again. Okay? Right. All right. And the next letter, the last letter is T, which is touch and thought. T and T. Touch and thought.
So yes, touch and thought. Listen, guys. The enemy, the devil, is real, okay? The devil tries so many ways of breaking up marriages. And we know the stats, right? We know what's going on in the world. The enemy will try to attack your mind. The devil will try to attack your mind. Put so many different thoughts into your head about your spouse. Oh, that person, or he or she, he's probably out there doing this. Or, if you do this, oh, they're not going to feel anyway. Knowing in yourself that that's going to hurt your spouse. So we cannot always be in control of our mind, but we can take responsibility for our actions and what we do. So try to be in control of your thoughts.
Yes, and it's never easy when you're in an argument moment because your thought is not thinking about, okay, our relationship. You're not even thinking about our love. You're not even thinking about, oh my God, I love her. She's my wife. She's my girl. You're not thinking about that. You're thinking about trying to defend yourself and trying to be right and trying to be correct. At the same time, you have to control what your mind is thinking. Don't start to think negative thoughts in your mind, because whatever your mind thinks, it comes through your mouth.
Yeah.
And then that just blazes the argument more. And as the touch part of it, not because you're arguing, you're not going to touch the person. You're not going to give them a hug. Sometimes that can end an argument and be happy. If you're arguing and it seems like it's not ending and it's just going on and there's no possible solution, nothing is going on, just take a breath, and say, honey, let's take a breath. Let's hug. Let's hug. Hug her. Tell her or tell him, I love you. Give him a kiss. But make sure that you're not just cutting them off to end the argument.
Absolutely.
You're not doing it to end it. You're doing it with the intention that we can calm down and revisit, clear her minds, because our thoughts are all over the place now. So let's calm down and clear our minds and speak it over. Nothing calms a woman down than a hug and a kiss. You hug and kiss your girl,
Also,
she's gonna calm down.
Also,
She's good. Especially where you hug them and the place that you touch. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. If you do that, they gonna calm down. All right. So touch and thought.
and with that being said, guys, remember, an argument or a fight is never to attack your spouse's character, but to make sure that we're able to slow things down and to implement changes so that we're not going in cycles.
Right. So you're in these 5 things that we say, you're gonna try to implement them in your argument. Try just if you have an argument, just turn this video on and watch the video and implement these words that we have just imparted on you knowledgeably. As I said, these are not things that we are proficient in. We just come up with these as something that we believe that can help you. And if you try and it does, comment back to us. Send us a message on Instagram. Let us know if what we're doing is helping so we can continue to do this, because our whole purpose is to uplift marriages and relationships.
Absolutely, guys.
All right, remember, if you're not a subscriber, to hit that subscribe button so you can join us and be notified by hitting that bell icon. Each time we upload, you will get notified. Also, be sure to like this video and share it. That's how you can support us, by sharing our content and liking our videos. And as always, leave your feedback below. We would love to know if this is helping you, how it's helped you, and also if you have something you can add to this, feel free to add it in the comments, because you don't know, somebody may be reading that and that may have just changed their life and just help a relationship that was possibly dying. You may never know. Each one teach one. Yes. That's what my professor normally says. I never get it. It was funny when he says it. All right. And on that note,
God loves you. Be blessed.
Bye.